Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Coggins, and we are looking at a... Can you guess, Stuart?
A tricorder.
It was an easy answer, Stuart. You went for the dad joke. The answer is ship. We're Trekyards after all. The things go vroom.
We do ships and tech, though. A ship is just a huge tricorder that goes planet to planet because it's got sensors and it does a whole bunch of things.
There's some truth to that.
There is. But yes, we're looking at a ship. Of course we are. We're looking at a Star Trek Online ship today. We are looking at the Guardian class.
Designed by the ever awesome Hector Ortiz and modelled by Adam Gibson. Now, Stuart, have you seen this one before? And any sort of first reactions?
I have seen it before. A lot of people ask me, have you seen the Guardian? And so, yeah, I had to look it up once on a live. And so that's the first time I've seen it. It's standard, Star Trek Online flair. I see a lot of design influences in it, but we'll talk about those as we go. But yeah, I think it's an overall a good-looking ship, a good addition to the fleet for sure.
It's amazing how many different ways Star Trek Online especially can take the very basic formula and just, moves some shapes around, moves some colours, moves some plates. I mean, it feels super standard and yet has that sort of, okay, we're pushing into a different area. The neck obviously is thinner like that, and the pylons are very thin, and there's a few bits and bobs to sort of imply that. But it's definitely bringing Ambassador vibes, the original Android Probe one. That's kind of what I'm vibing straight from that secondary hull and the way the neck is. Not necessarily the saucer, but I feel that's inspired from the secondary hull.
Well, it's funny because the neck, I see Excelsior, like a newer, upgraded version of the Excelsior with the ribbed neck design. Not rounded at the front, obviously, but I see the influence, some kind of influence there. So that's what I thought. I didn't think the Probert Ambassador class when I saw that, but that's interesting.
Do you like the neck? Because it's very bulky pieces, and I don't know what they're meant to be, if that makes sense. They're just, I guess neither for the Excelsior either, but that was designed as miniature, 40 years ago.
The neck is a good place to put windows, in my opinion, on these ships, just because, it's kind of been standard flair for them to have that. And the Excelsior just doesn't have that. It makes you wonder what the neck actually is, if it's just strength and support. And because honestly, you look at the TOS Enterprise and it doesn't make sense to have a turbo lift and windows going through that neck because it's so skinny. It's like the size of a car, like the length of a car kind of thing, a little bit more. But you make it work with the blueprints and stuff. And just these have so much more volume in the neck. You would think that there would be everything important confined to the middle, and then, actually more space. There might be rooms in there, of course, but a window would be nice. I don't know. And you could definitely... I actually like the way they're stacked here.
Yeah.
Because you should put a torpedo tube in the end of every one of those.
I was thinking that, yep. Because that would feel very... not very natural, but the design would make sense. And then it's basically just a torpedo boat, but fully integrated. Now, we could talk scale. We could investigate scale. The windows are small, and obviously it's implying galaxy vibes, that sort of size. But how big would you say it was compared to, say, a Galaxy class?
I would say probably the same size as Galaxy, just offhand.
Well, let's look straight in then. For once, Stuart, it's not oversized. This is...
Oh, wow.
It's right on the money, I think.
A little bit longer than a Sovereign. But, internal volume-wise, it's very much reminiscent of the Galaxy class. So, and there, for sure, I do get the Probert Ambassador vibes from that secondary hull, 1,000%.
Yeah, because the way the back piece curves up. It's very distinct. I don't know if I like the nacelles. They seem oddly square to the incredibly organic everything else. I know they're kind of curved, but when you look sort of quickly, your brain, for me, sees harder edges.
I like the nacelle design except for the rear. I don't like the way they slice in like that. They should be more squared off. I think they should be more squared off at the back, actually. I like the variation that STO has.
Absolutely.
For sure. So
incredible.
Yeah. Other than that cutout at the back, I'm a fan of those. I think they look kind of cool. I love that the glowing elements are on top as well.
Yeah. So it's for Sovereign, you kind of always forget that because most ships are the side, but there is the occasional, top one. It also, one thing, it feels noisy from the top. There's a lot of platey black line color variation.
It's the STO aesthetic though, and I kind of like the black and gray highlights that STO ships have. I wish that I think that's a good Starfleet look, to be honest. But yeah, I get what you're saying, and just the shapes on the saucer, like that kind of overlaid shape that's on the saucer shape, was very reminiscent to some of the early designs we see for the or prototypes for the Defiant. Just kind of stretched out and pulled back a little bit. Like I forget which one it was called, but there was one in particular that reminds me of just looking at it. So,
but let's see if it changes in the side view. And actually, yes, this is even bigger. Wow, that's big.
Yeah, much more internal volume than the Galaxy, actually.
Jeez, but it does. It's kind of. It looks a bit odd next to these ships. These ships are not the creme de la creme of this era. So if you look at sort of gentle upscaling as the Ambassador was to the Enterprise D, this feels very natural from the D to this. If it was, on that sort of line.
Yeah, and it's got a good stance to it. I like this ship. Here, the secondary hull is exactly like the Rick Sternbach's Ambassador class. That front shape. I really like the integration of the nacelles, though, the lowered, and the way that those struts stand. I like that.
Not as big a fan about that, but I don't know how I feel about the massive swept underbit. I mean, that is a big old cutout.
It is, and I mean, practicality-wise, you're missing out on a lot of space that you could have if you just extended that back. But for aesthetics, definitely the bigger scoop is a little bit nicer. I actually had the same problem when Barry and I were designing the refit Foley class. I needed to extend the scoop a bit because it didn't look sleek enough or fast enough. It just looked pregnant. And so, I mean, you got to be careful when you design ships if you want that look, right? But yeah, I think as an actual ship, you'd want more internal volume maybe. Even though, that being said, this has a ton of it, you can tell. So it's kind of a fine line there.
I think this straddles it beautifully. But next view, okay, yeah.
Yeah, those nacelles look super cool. I appreciate the detailing on the top, the plating.
Thank God it has side grills. I was getting a bit worried because I didn't realize they did or didn't. So thank goodness.
Yeah. I'm not the hugest fan of that shape on the saucer though. The curves, I don't know. Something about it just looks not right to me.
And the lack of bridge kind of bugs me. It feels too flat. The tiny registry doesn't feel appropriate. Feels too small. I'm not really a fan of that front big black bit towards this ramming speed ship. I don't know what that's meant to be.
Yeah, it does seem like an extra armored area, doesn't it?
Nice RCS thrusters though, which is a small detail, but they actually are textured as well. They're wrongly textured because there should be grooves over the entire thing, but I like the colour. I've just been doing RCS thrusters for another thing, so I like that.
Kind of more of a coppery yellow.
Yeah.
No, the bridge module doesn't bother me. I kind of like that it might be inset. You can see the dome at the top of the bridge, which is reminiscent of the D, but it is set down, so it's not like, because everybody complains, oh, the bridge on top is a target. Yeah, okay, we get it. But I kind of like it. I can see why you say it looks too flat though.
It's just
you could raise some of those pieces in the middle up and step it a bit, so it would have a little bit of a different feel for sure.
But as we often see, it is depending on the perspective. Because let's jump to the next view. Okay, no, it's still pretty flat from the next view.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's a beautiful view of this ship. Except for the rear, there's no nacelles. I hate that. It's like a waterfall of color, and the curve just doesn't work with the rest of the ship. But
it is cool though.
It is cool, yes.
Just does it work? I think mostly it probably is something. It needs something there, Not sure what. And I think it's fair to say now we've got a good back view. Those big, beautiful looking impulse engines are on the top of the hull, and those things in the pylons are more warp nacelles, I guess, because they have bastards and grills.
Yeah, I was wondering that when we saw it from the size comparison. Looks like the red parts are at the front, So it kind of negates them being impulse engines. Like a lot of the Star Trek Online ships have impulse engines on the struts, which is a great idea. But there it looks like there's impulse engines in the struts, as you can see, like the raised part there. But yeah, that main impulse deck on the back with the windows overlooking, that's amazing. That looks really nice, and I love the three of them.
Yeah. They're so integrated and simplistic, but in a good way. I think that sweep, while it looks cool, that sweep of the neck, that harsh step up, it's too much for me. I think it needs to be more gentle, more integrated. It's just a bit too much for me.
I like it. I like it the way it is there, but I agree the middle part, at least, the middle dark area should be extended just a tad and not be so much of a ramp up. The outer ones, keep them the same, but yeah, beef up that middle section.
Yeah, I think that would balance out a lot, actually.
Next shot, kind of from underneath. Again, more glowing elements on the bottom of the nacelles, but done in a unique way. I kind of like that.
That's weird.
I don't like the raised, chunky sections on the saucer. Like, get rid of those, smooth those out, and you'd have a much nicer design. But the secondary hull shape is fantastic.
And why is where the neck integrates, why is there a massive cutout?
'Cause.
Fair enough. No, it's a good view. I think this is one that it looks better as an overall. And when you start really looking at it, it kind of, okay, that doesn't quite work as well. But it's like, okay, this is a nice combined thing. It definitely feels sweeping in this view. Weirdly enough, the bottom doesn't feel as flat, even though it is flat. You kind of expect the bottom to be more flat in general in these ships. It hides the top flatness.
I do like the long phaser strips along the side of the secondary hull, though. That's good coverage.
Yeah, I noticed that. But the next view is a front view. Now, that's a good view. That does something nice. It's also the way it's lit. There's a nice like blue glow on the side. That's nice. I like that. It makes the source feel a lot more 3D. And it does help a lot.
Yeah, the neck and secondary hull, again, look fantastic. Top marks from me for that. But the nacelles here just look like crap. I don't know why. They just look too amateurish almost from this view.
I don't know about you, but they have a slight bug eye feel.
I can see that.
I think it looks cool, though. I mean, again, this is a nice example of a future ship. You know, this is what they could have had in Picard or such. It's like, oh yeah, just a weird evolution, you know? But speaking of evolution, let's devolution. Next view is a comparison with clear things that inspired it. You've got the Galaxy on top, you've got this Guardian in the middle, and then you've got the Ambassador prototype by Tobias Richter and Andrew Probert on the bottom. So I think I was right. Inspired. It has certain vibes from the Ambassador.
It does. But the secondary hull from the side is way more Rick Sternbach's Ambassador. But yeah, I mean, his Ambassador class carries over neck details from the Excelsior, which, again, that's the first thing I saw when I saw that.
You know what they did? They took Rick's and they stretched it out, saying, let's make it feel like Andrew's, but keep the same vague dimensions as Rick's. Kind of hybridize those feels.
Kind of. Although, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Rick's Ambassador, and I can tell you that the front of that secondary hull, that's exactly the same. Just that angle, just everything about it.
Front view, though, the Galaxy, if this is meant to be a Galaxy sort of evolution, that neck, didn't realize it was that, but okay. Well,
I mean, it tapers back from those points at the front. I still think having torpedoes in there would be
advantageous. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you can see where all the extra volume comes from in that secondary hull. You can't really tell from many of the other views, but this one, you can tell it's a huge beefed up version of the D there.
But it does now feel fat.
It does. It feels pregnant and
front,
bloated.
Yeah, the front view is not its core one. Which, you know, every ship doesn't need to work from every view. We often see that. Back view though. Okay.
Yeah, well, again, they're integrating the 3 impulse engine design, but changing it up somewhat, which is great. Those nacelles from the rear, I think, look great. Because you can't tell that there's a scoops out of them.
Well, it's sad they've lost all the many shuttle bays. Now it's just one primary one.
It feels like there's a lot less escape pods on this one than the D.
Yes. Yeah.
The D has them everywhere.
Although if you look between the RCS thrusters, they're in escape pods, which just shows you how big that room is in comparison. Because, wow. So
next picture is the last picture, the first picture we got of it, and again, this is a ship that I don't mind. Looks good from a lot of different angles. It's got a lot going for it. There's a few things I'd want to change though.
Or tweak at least. Tweak.
Yeah. Particularly some of the nacelle shapes and features. Just modify those a bit. And then you got the raised parts, the weird funkiness on the saucer. Just I need a reason. I need a purpose for that because it looks fine. I think it's just for looks. It looks like something new, something different, and not just be the standard saucer that we always have. So kudos for that, I guess. But
it needed another design pass of actually breaking down what things were a bit more, adding some more function back in, and like we said, just something about the saucer. Refining the saucer a little bit would help. But there are some cool things. There are some. I think this is, like I say, a great example of new old with a lot of little new ideas, and yet it's good. This is cool. It's good. I do like it. And do you like this episode of Trekyards and Star Trek Online? If you do like Star Trek Online, you can go play Star Trek Online right now for free. Oh my god, there you go. With probably thousands of hours worth of content ready for you over years and years and years of people building up all that great stuff with many celebrities from the TV show and many, many ships. If you want to see more ships that we've done on STO, then of course Google or YouTube Trekyards STO. You'll find stuff. And please do, if you want to support that more stuff, then like us on Facebook, like us on here, all the videos, subscribe to the channel. That's a great way. Join our lives every single week. That's a really good way. Super chat if you can, and join the channel using the join button if you can. It's even more helpful.
That's right. And if you want to help us in other ways, you got PayPal, Patreon. Going over to trekyards.com, clicking the donate button, which is basically just PayPal, but still, lots of great ways in the description. You can buy some Trekyards merchandise and other great stuff down there. So check out the description of each video. There's always cool stuff down there waiting for you. And Eaglemoss is doing a line of Star Trek Online ships soon. So we have an Eaglemoss link. If you follow that link and then use the discount code Trekyard, you save yourself some money with Eaglemoss ships. So since we're ship guys, we're helping you out with the ships, guys.
Oh!
Ship guys. Oh, I didn't even plan that, but that was great.
Wow.
And on that fantastic note, we'll see you next time. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Clan Tongues. Bye, guys.